Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1993's Cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah, great.
Before we get started, if you would like to follow us, shoot us a message on Twitter. You could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Idle Poncho. And let's get into 1993's Cliffhanger. This movie stars Sylvester Stallone as Gabe Walker, John Lithgow as Quaylen, Michael Rooker as Hal Tucker, and Janine Turner as Jesse.
John Lithgow and Michael Rooker are gods.
Yes.
I love them both, and they were fantastic in this movie, and they were the only thing that made this movie watchable. If I had to watch Sylvester Stallone and Janine Turner try and carry a fucking scene more than the 3 times I had to, dude, I was going to walk out of the theater, and the theater was my living room. I was going to leave my own damn house.
I'll say this. John Lithgow seems like I've seen him in interviews. I've seen him in obviously a bunch of movies he's been in over his career. He seems like one of the genuinely nicest people, and he plays such a good prick in this movie. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, great.
Michael Rooker, yes, he's a very good actor.
I love him.
His career span has been great. Characters he's played has been great. I don't know. In this one, I'm like, he was good, but
he did great in this one. He did
compared
great
to everybody else.
His dialogue, unfortunately, and this is what I think happened. His dialogue was trying to match up with Sly's.
Yes, absolutely.
Lithgow and the bad guys had all the good dialogue, and he had to match up with Sly, and that was the problem.
I totally agree with that. But let's dive into this one, because this movie opens with a rescue of Hal and his girlfriend, who gets stuck climbing apparently one of the hardest mountains, cliffs, whatever, to climb in the area that they're in, which is in Colorado. And his girlfriend has 0 climbing experience, but he thought he'd be a tough guy, and he blows out his knee or whatever. So they send the helicopter on one side with Jesse and Frank flying the helicopter way too close to the cliff, way too close to Stallone. You basically made human pasta. You got human gnocchis hanging off that fucking cliff because some of the shots of the chopper are so close.
Oh, this was a very confusing part for me because they make it seem, and I remembered this from when I watched it a few times in the past, but Michael Rooker's girlfriend, it's like his longtime girlfriend, right?
Yes.
Because they make it seem almost at first like, he should know better than to bring somebody that's never climbed. Janine Turner is either just one of those women that hates other women.
Yeah. Because
she refused to even call her by her name. They act like they've gone out numerous, we're going to go out to dinner tonight, right? And she's like, what's he doing? What's she doing bringing some whore up here who's never climbed on a rock before?
What was Hal doing on the tower with a girl who could barely climb?
Oh, yeah, we're going to dinner.
Yeah, we're going to dinner so we can shit all over your girlfriend some more.
We're going to play Scattergory so we can tell her how bad she is at the game. Yeah, go ahead and bring her to game night, Al. They're also, and I'm glad you brought that up, because everyone's way too loose for a rescue.
Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, okay?
I know Hal's a professional climber, and Sly's a professional climber, and they're professional helicopter people, whatever. But everybody, because the Hal's girlfriend is freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
She's freaking out about the height. She's freaking out about getting on the line to zip over to the helicopter. I don't know who did all her straps, but whoever it was, Hal, did a horrible job. That kind of job is done by a guy who doesn't want to be dating somebody right now, but doesn't have the stones to break up with her.
Really?
Harnesses are built for certain weights.
Yes.
You gave her a child's harness and she's a full-grown woman. What did you think was going to happen? There's a reason there are weight limits to these things. And And again, going back to the longtime girlfriend or just kind of like up on the tower booty call, when Sly is hooking Michael Rooker up to the wench to zipline him across,
Yeah.
he says, Hal says something to Sly like,
Whatever this guy says about me, don't believe it, okay?
Thanks.
they know each other. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're all, you guys,
Yeah.
he's in love
It's-
with this girl. I'm very confused at the very beginning, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying he should care any more or any less that she died.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Now I know everything. I don't even need to see it anymore.
It was very confusing, just the way they were conversing versus how Janine Turner was acting versus how
Yeah.
Sarah was acting.
Yeah, it was the whole
Weird.
the whole scene was weird. But and this is the best because you get Sarah, his girlfriend, because she has a name.
His name is Robert Paulson.
He hooks her up to the wench or whatever, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm scared." And Sly gives the, "You'll be great, Sarah. It'll be fine. You'll be great."
Sarah, you're doing great. Really great. Keep going.
The gear starts to unravel and break. Sly goes out to save her. She drops. He catches her, but he can't hold on. She falls to her death, slips out of her gloves, and she falls to her death. Jump to 8 months later at the U.S. Treasury. They're transferring money via plane. $300 million apparently, and FBI agents tagging along, and they're making little jokes like, sure, you could tag along, yada, yada. I was kind of confused here because I remember the whole money part of this, like that there's a heist about to happen, but it was just, I don't know, it was just really weirdly cut. And like, oh, I thought, like, if you went into this movie, and I'm trying to go back in time, if you went into this movie in theaters in 93 and you were like, Cliffhanger, Stallone's climbing rocks, it's great. And you go into the theater, you see the woman drop, and then cut to the U.S. Treasury, is everybody in the theater going, what the fuck is going on here?
This like got convoluted as shit.
So they're transferring the money, then you cut back to Sly going back to town because apparently he moved to Denver and he left town after the incident. He comes back to get Jessie, who I'm assuming was his either girlfriend or wife.
Yes, they seem like at least live-in
Yes.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
But he
If that's still-
leaves. He leaves after the incident for 8 months, and it seems like he didn't tell anybody. He was just like, I'm out.
Oh, like she dropped and he went down the other side of the cliff face and just walked the fuck to Denver. He
Yeah.
was done.
And he's like, yeah, I got a job over there, flipping burgers at Denny's over there. It's great. And then he comes back and he's like, Jesse, I think you should pack all your shit. We'll sell the house and everything will be great. Let's go to Denver. And she basically tells him to go kick rocks here. And
This is where we get another dose of man baby Sly.
yes.
Because, again, what are you? You ran away. What do you mean, come to Denver? I have a fucking horse. What are you talking about? I can't move.
Can I bring the
What do
horse
you
to
mean?
Denver?
He's just like, I think you should come with me. And she's like, no, you should get over what the fuck happened. And he's just like, well, then I guess I'll just pack my stuff.
If you don't mind, I'd better pick up the rest of my stuff.
And she's like, yeah, pack your shit because you're a man baby and I'm not dealing with your shit. She has a good line here.
So why don't you do us a favor and quit hoarding all the guilt?
Such a good line that she delivers. And I'm like, oh, you should just treat him like this for the rest of the movie because he's just, again, giant man baby. He takes 8 years to pack his stuff because
Oh, yeah. He folds a t-shirt. He literally folds a t-shirt and then goes, you want to go with me yet? Okay. Folds the second t-shirt. You want to go with me yet?
It cuts back to the Treasury plane, them flying with the money, and the heist begins. Everything starts to go wrong. The FBI agent, after being shot, thwarts the whole plan, and the cases of money fall into the mountains because they have another plane that is like flying just below the money plane, and they hook the zip line and they're sending the cases across. Again, a very convoluted plan when the main guy from the Treasury is running the plane.
Yes.
Can't you just kill everybody, land somewhere else, and then get in a car and get the fuck out of town?
We've seen Con Air. You ditch the transponder, you put it on Bob's flying Grand Canyon tour.
Yes.
Bob's your uncle. You're set.
Exactly.
You're
like
good
this,
to go. But one cool thing about that is that was a practical effect.
Yes.
And the stuntman got paid $1 million.
Yep, I did see that.
To do that stunt.
Well, the funny thing that I read about that, because I read that, you know, the actual dude goes ziplining between the two planes. I'm assuming you only get one shot at that take. And they had to pay him $1 million for it, but they didn't have the money in the budget. So Sly took $1 million less just so that they could pay the stuntman to do that stunt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was just a cool story. After this, you know, the Quaylen's on the plane and the plane crashes with his team, including Travers, who's from the Treasury Department. And they call for mountain rescue so that they could steal the helicopter. But apparently the weather's too bad and they can't. Jesse goes back to the cabin that her and Baby Man is packing his shit. And she's like, hey, we just got a call for a rescue. Hal's going up. He needs help. She's a helicopter person. Frank's a helicopter person. Hal's the only climber. Sly's been gone 8 months. Did you not hire anybody else? You knew he was gone. He was a no-call, no-show for at least 3 days before you went, shit, I don't think Sly's coming back. Gabe ain't going to make it. So, no-call, no-show, you get fired. That's any job. But they didn't hire another climber. So, what would you do if Sly wasn't there? Well, good luck, Hal. There's 5 people you got to rescue.
And here in about 20 minutes, it's going to be 6 people.
Oh, yeah, great.
You know Sly's harboring all this guilt. You know Hal is still pissed.
Yes.
And fucking hates this guy. And you're like, hey, here's a great idea. You just popped in on me. Why don't you go see your buddy Hal? Help him out on a fucking mountain.
Yes.
Also, one quick question. When they called for help for rescue.
Yes.
The female on board
says,
Billy's been hurt. We need insulin.
Please hurry. Billy's going into shock. Please, we need insulin.
And John Lithgow looks super impressed and says, would you have thought of that?
Would you have thought of that?
Why? Why?
That's what...
The only reason, this is the only reason I think she said it, is because she knew that 20 some odd years later, we'd be doing this review and I could just insert a clip of diabetes.
So, you got diabetes.
That's literally the only reason she said it.
The only thing that would have been better is if she said, Billy's going into shock. Somebody get Shelby some orange juice.
Shelby, you need some juice. You need some juice.
I'm a hiker. I hike my ass off.
Yeah.
Winter, spring, summer, blah, blah, blah. Should I have been carrying insulin I'm not diabetic. Should I have been carrying insulin this whole time? Just in case of some shit?
Of course, because Billy needs it. Just FYI.
Yeah.
You will find somebody named Billy in the mountains that needs insulin.
Oh, Billy.
What I would have liked to have seen at least is like at some point, Hal actually had a needle full of insulin and like is like, fuck you, Travers, and stabs him in the neck and pushes him over a cliff. That would have been dope. Then like your insulin came into play. It never comes up again.
No, it's kind of like the golf, the putter in Sliver. It never comes up again. Yeah. But after this, Sly and Hal go through their little, oh, I hate you, and you don't get to feel bad. I'm going to pretend to push you off the mountain. And great, we'll make this rescue, and then we won't talk to each other again. They get up there, and here's the other thing. There's a few times during this movie that their plan goes awry. Like, it just falls apart because everybody gets, like, too antsy about things. Sly and Hal get to the top of where their plane crashed, and they immediately take out their guns. There's no Billy that needs the insulin. The act is over. They're like, we got Uzis and you're fucked. Here they spill the beans about the cases, and they're in the mountains and we need help. There's $300 million. You got to hike and get us.
What's in them? Suits, socks, $100 million, the usual stuff.
Yeah, we're thieves, you see, and we stole this $300 million from the treasury, see? Okay. So now Stallone and Hal have to help. They get to the first case, and they basically tell Sly, like, Hal, you're an experienced climber, but we need to keep one of you here for, I don't know, precautions, whatever. They take Sly's jacket and basically all of his climbing gear and go, hey, climb and go get that case. There's a couple of times where they pull out the little thing where it shows where the cases are. And it shows the temperature. And it's -9 or -11 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester Stallone wouldn't last. Let me just say, this entire Donner Party wouldn't last in this weather with the flimsy triple fat goose jackets they have. But now he takes his jacket off. He's got to climb. He finds that there's money in it. And then the guy starts shooting on a snow-covered mountain bullets and grenades on a snow-covered... Listen, I've never been hiking in the mountains. However, I do know if you throw grenades or you launch grenades into the snow, you might cause some sort of, I don't know, avalanche, which is what happens, but they think that Sly dies, so now it's just Hal. And now there's a mad dash for all the money.
I have to interject here.
Oh, go right ahead.
Because this is where we start to have a massive problem.
You think?
So you have laid out a plan where you have got a fucking U.S. Treasury agent who is so high up he is able to guard one of the most important shipments of money
Yes.
that the Treasury Department can possibly be making. Secure flight, yada, yada. You are the man in charge. You, as John Lithgow's character, come up with this plan. Get this guy on your side. You have two planes connect, zip wire and cases down, and human beings down, midair. 30,000 feet.
Yes.
600, 800 miles an hour. You're just zip lining like it's fucking cool, like you're in Costa Rica for the weekend. And the second it goes awry, you just lose all composure. Your team falls apart.
Absolutely.
Everything falls apart on you.
Well,
it's just like, what the fuck? How many times do we talk about situational awareness? And Hal needs to listen to situational awareness too.
Yes.
Because they literally say, if you make a sound, I'm going to shoot you. And then he goes, all right.
They're gonna kill you! Don't come down! Don't come!
This motherfucker should have been popped in the head like 7 times before we even got to the midway point.
And you got Lithgow's like whole gang that they're pulling guns on each other. They're pulling guns on Hal and Sly.
It turns out the Australian guy is racist and Leon ain't having that shit ever.
Yeah. And
how did you not do a background check on these guys?
The Australian
mercenary wasn't going to get along with your Black Foreign Legion guy.
Now there's this mad dash for the last 2 cases.
Yes.
And they think Sly's dead because of the avalanche. Sly hooks up with Jesse at the little cabin because she figures that that's where they would go because it's cold or whatever.
Yeah. Hal said the tower and they were over at Flip Rock Point.
Yeah, sure.
And this is where, and you want to talk about, again, losing all composure. The beginning of this movie, Janine Turner's cool as shit in that helicopter. You know, we got to secure the line, blah, blah, blah. She sees Sly again. This wasn't your fucking fault. Don't hog all the guilt. She's in command. She's a helicopter pilot. Strong, independent woman. She sees Sly coming, shivering, and she goes, what? Say something! Say something! Say something! Say something! Calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
You're a fucking helicopter pilot, lady.
Yeah.
And you know you control your shit. He's the one that's been gone for 8 months, and he comes in with fucking hypothermia that's miraculously cured inside of 30 minutes with an old Navajo blanket. Congratulations.
And a shitty knit sweater?
Yeah. And now instead of being an asset for 90% of the movie, like she should have been, Janine Turner becomes a fucking liability. Just another problem for Sly to deal with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Sly and Jesse, they tried to beat Lithgow's gang with they're a bunch of dudes with guns, and they're like, hey, instead of calling the police and, the FBI or whatnot, I'm gonna go ahead and try to fuck with these guys because they have guns and I have fists. Okay, Sly, cool. So, they make a snowman with the thing, and he takes the money. It's, oh, Christ. They get chased through the woods, Sly and Jesse. Sly and one of the goons wrestle as they slide down the mountain. Sly uses his little pickaxe to save him, and the dude goes flying into the crevasse like Tupac and Juice. And he just disappears, and okay, that's one down. Like, I had my little tachometer, like, okay, we'll mark that one guy off. Like, how many more are left? 4? Okay, cool. So he's gone. They're going to keep going to the other cases and fuck with them along the way. Sly and Jesse get found out by Leon in a cave. We've talked about Leon in the past.
I've told you.
I love Leon. I love Leon. But Sly and Jesse get found out by Leon in this cave. Sly and Leon duke it out. This is a really good fight scene in the cave. Mm-hmm. Except because Leon's fucking him up. And hey, Leon, one quick note to you. Too much talky. No, you fighty. You need to just keep kicking this dude's ass. But Leon, he's got to have his lines. So he goes into his like little dissertation about how much he hates him and hates the snow or whatever the hell I didn't even pay attention to what he said. But then Sly lifts him up into the little
stalagmite.
There you go. I didn't know the word because I don't read. But he lifts him up into the cave icy things. We'll go with that one. And kills Leon.
I like that.
I thought that was good. But he puts him up into little fucking icicles. Leon's dead.
Again, Janine Turner, liability. Sly's getting the shit kicked out of him throughout.
And she's
this
just
whole
watching.
Scene. She's just watching like the damsel in distress.
That bothers.
You can't find an ice hangy thingy on the ground, stalactite, and just whack him over the fucking head with that?
Really?
She's gonna get, like, I don't remember the scene, but she's obviously going to get up and stab him with an ice thingy.
Yeah.
Give him some of this. Guys, a little bit of how's your father? Like, no, she gives him nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, great.
Hal radios Sly and lets him know that Quaylen planted a bomb where they're at. So as they try to get away, Sly gets in the same predicament as the opening, except this time it's with Jesse and he's holding her, but saves her just in time, pulls her into the little cave, kaboom, bomb goes off. Frank then takes the chopper. God love Frank.
He's a lovely old man, and he should have retired a year ago.
So he takes the chopper because he hasn't heard from anyone. Everybody keeps leaving and nobody radios back. So he decides, screw it, I'm going to take the chopper up. He gets ambushed and Quaylen's crew kills him. Immediately. Like they have no patience in this crew.
Well, and this is where I wouldn't have very much patience with Frank either, because he turns Crystal over and they're pointing the gun and he goes,
Well, I came here to help you.
I'm not injured. How do you not get this yet?
I have a gun, sir.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with that call. It's all fake.
Frank's
like this is a ruse. Do I have to explain the whole plot of this again?
Frank goes, I brought insulin. Where's Billy?
Oh, Billy.
He gets shot and he was like, the insulin's in the bag. Like, he still has no idea.
He makes it. Here's the silver blanket to keep him warm.
He's still got no idea. He's dying. Still no clue. They booby trap the bridge and it blows as Sly and Jesse are trying to cross. They still get to the last case before Quaylen and his team, which they never explain. Did they fly across there's a big ridge there. Like, I don't know how they got across, but they did. And they have no equipment, but cool. They still beat him to the last case. Quaylen's crew gets close to the last case here. They decide to kill Hal. This is where the really weird soccer references come into effect with the Australian guy.
You like soccer? It's a great sport.
He makes so many soccer puns.
That's a penalty kick. Unsportsmanlike. He dribbles past one defender.
Hal's getting the shit kicked out of him throughout this whole scene. And he's like, oh, crikey, I'm going to line up for the penalty kick.
Striker lines up at the penalty spot. He focuses on the ball. The crowd is on his feet.
Shut your mouth.
Wait, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Beat the hell out of Hal. Let Hal take the knife out of his thing and stab you, shoot you, and take you over the cliff.
Just don't play with your food is the lesson here.
Exactly.
Quit fucking around with your play-by-play. He's getting the shit kicked out of him. Do you think the metaphor means anything to him? You know what I mean? He's either enjoying it or he's just like, oh, it's like insult to injury because I'm a soccer ball now. It's just, nobody gets anything from this.
Travers goes crazy after this on the radio and gives up Quaylen, uses his full name, even though it's not on a secured law, whatever.
I don't give a shit, Eric Quaylen.
Quaylen goes for the rescue chopper to escape. Travers goes for Sly, who jumps off the mountain here and literally hits every tree on his way down. Sly then lures Travers onto a bridge with a frozen over like river or some body of water that runs through there. He tries to drag Travers under the bridge. The ice breaks. He shoots the little anchor gun through the ice and kills Travers.
Yeah, a couple things
It
with that one.
It was just ridiculous.
One, that body of water is called the Colorado River. That's a giveaway when they go, see you in Arizona, asshole. That flows
sure.
all the way to Arizona.
Really?
The other thing, it's really weird in that scene because the ice is incredibly thin, yet they're able to walk on it. Yet
Yes.
he falls through, but he's able to push himself out, and he's able to fire projectiles out. None of that ice scene makes any sense. Not to mention the fact that I'm pretty sure the Colorado River is strong enough, current-wise, it's not freezing over like that. You might have trickle spots as runoffs, but a fucking major river, it doesn't freeze over like that. And I know that because people didn't die of dehydration last year.
You're right. It's fact.
Quaylen then kidnaps Jesse on the rescue chopper. All Quaylen's got to do is fly away. But he's still stuck on this money. And it's like, from what the FBI and the U.S. Treasury people are saying, because it keeps cutting back to them. I don't know where they're flying from, by the way, but it takes them for goddamn ever. But they're talking about Quaylen at the headquarters or whatever and on the plane, and they make it sound like John Lithgow's character has been, pulling hood rat shit for like his whole life. Like, he's been a criminal his whole life. So he must be set up. Like, he's like the big, Bond, big criminal, rich guy type. The $30 million in the last case, it doesn't mean nothing to him. Just fly the fuck away. But no, he's got a point. First of all, she can't see you pointing the little pea shooter at her from the helicopter to where she's standing.
He just keeps angling it. You see me now?
It's just she like puts her hands up in the air, like arbitrarily, just
helicopter got the gun up. It's like, oh, you bitch.
Sit down, bitch. Thug life. Wu-Tang.
So he kidnaps her in the helicopter, and I don't know how that kidnapping occurred. Like, because she wasn't standing on a area where he could land, and he couldn't let go of the controllers. She's handcuffed to the ceiling.
I think Bruce Wayne fixed the autopilot is the point of that.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox, it's already been fixed. Software patch, 6 months ago.
Check the ID on the patch.
Bruce Wayne.
After he kidnaps Jesse, he takes the chopper to wherever the hell Sly tells him to go, because Sly has the money in his little knapsack or whatever.
Yeah.
Quaylen says, throw the money onto the helicopter.
Throw it up or I'll kill her.
What you think? You got Uncle Rico on the ground? That motherfucker ain't making it that far.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
The plane's or the helicopter's open on both sides. To throw it at such an exact speed without the helicopter blades affecting it, to have it land in the helicopter and not slide out the other side would be a miracle. But he keeps telling him to throw it onto the chopper. But Lithgow lets Jesse go because Sly said so. I'll give you the money, but you got to let her go.
This could have been one of those infinity moments if this were a Will Ferrell movie, let's say, where he's like,
throw it up or I'll kill her.
No, you let my girl go.
The money.
No, let my girl go.
The money.
But somebody's got to give. We know Man Baby's not going to be the grown-up in this situation, so
No.
let's hand it off to Lithgow.
No, because here he lets Jesse go. Sly then throws the money into the helicopter blades. He then hooks the helicopter to the ladder. And then he knows that the helicopter is going to start doing helicopter shit. And he goes to get away and he jumps on the ladder on the ladder that he tied the helicopter to.
Missed it by that much.
That's your plan?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, cool. So the chopper does chopper shit. It crashes, right? And now this ladder that looks like it couldn't hold me getting into a pool is now holding the full weight of this helicopter and the crash, the force of the crash, and it's still in the mountain. Then they get Sly and Lithgow get into the fight. Listen, the Leon Sly fight, that should have been the main event. This is an undercard because let's face it, I love John Lithgow, but Sly beating that dude's ass.
Yeah. There's a reason John Lithgow has a gun. Bad guys like Lithgow and me, we have guns. That's for a reason.
Exactly. So Sly makes pretty quick work of them. They, wrestle on the chopper. Lithgow goes into the chopper. Sly gets on the mountain because, he's mountain man, climber guy. And then finally, just in time, the chopper gives way. The ladder gives way to the chopper's weight. It goes crashing down. And then Sly gets saved by Hal and Jesse, who are at the top of Old Smoky. And they get on the radio with the FBI and Paul Winfield, who tell them that help will be there at some point, and then roll credits.
Yep. They all share a laugh.
That's the end. That's the end.
Yep. We don't care about Frank's death anymore. The fact that you dropped my girlfriend 8 months ago.
Sure.
Almost a year.
It's in the past.
Good, dude.
It's in the past.
We just fought bad guys.
And can I ask one question? So the FBI and Paul Winfield here at the end are like, hey, where's this guy? Like, he's at the bottom of the thing. Go ask him. He's about 4,000 feet down. They're still not there. They left at the beginning of this movie.
You were right.
And I do have to bring up, just because, I'm such a dork like this. He says,
try about 4,000 feet south of here. He'll be the one wearing a helicopter.
It's not south. It's down. He's on a mountain. It's down. South is a fucking direction. Are you in a cartoon?
Well, which way did it go, George? Which way did it go?
The fact that this was still somehow entertaining, I don't understand it.
Dude, okay, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it because after I watched this, took my notes, did my thing, watched the movie, and I went, wow, that movie sucked. It was thoroughly entertaining. I was entertained the entire time. I'm like, does it hold up? Not really. But if you need a mindless, entertainment type movie, this is it.
Yeah, especially if you're like nature and the mountains and seeing that kind of shit, action set in those situations. It's fucking great. The shots are beautiful of the mountains and everything.
The shots are awesome. I will say this though. I don't Look at me. I don't climb. Like I'm not a mountain guy, not an outdoorsy guy. I'm going to assume that
I don't know why you turned Italian right there. Like literally like an immigrant. I'm gonna assume.
I'm gonna assume that
we believe you don't climb mountains. You don't have to put an accent on it. So
I'm gonna assume that if you do climb mountains and you are a mountain man and an outdoorsy person, this probably isn't the movie for you. Kind of like a doctor watching like a ER type show.
Right.
I'm assuming you would just get mad throughout this whole show. Like, that's not a fucking thing.
Really?
I've had conversations with people who do rock climb, and they think this movie is complete bullshit.
Yes.
Just from the technical standpoint of climbing rocks. Like, if you look at this and you're like, I'm gonna go try that. Go to a place like a gymboree or something that has a rock wall and start there.
A gymboree.
I don't know. I don't go to those places. Court order.
Yeah. I'm a leave those place alone too. But yeah, again, like I said, I don't think this movie holds up. I think the script is garbage. But like Lithgow does a good job. Rooker does a good job. A few of these guys do a good enough job that make it super entertaining.
Oh, yeah, great.
One of the fun parts in some of these movies is when the bad guys start to break down onto each other, they actually will take one or two of each other out.
Yeah.
And help things kind of speed along.
Yeah.
That would have been really nice to see, like, Leon and the Australian dude go at it.
Yes,
not even to kill each other, but just, like, really just kind of beating the shit out of each other. If for nothing else, to show us what we could expect when the other fights with our protagonists come along.
Yeah. I would have liked that without the soccer puns.
Yes. Take out all the soccer bullshit. Take out evil exposition. Put in fighting exposition. Winner.
Hey, great.
This movie's actually very entertaining. I completely agree with what you said. If you're just kicking back and this is on TV, it's pretty friggin' entertaining. If for nothing else, if you've never seen Lithgow as a bad guy,
it's good.
This is a great way to dip your toe in, and then I suggest moving on to Raising Cain, because he's fucking evil in that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Awesome. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1993's Cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah, great.